One of my passions is communion with God. I love to encourage people to do it. But communication is a two-way thing. One of God's names is Wonderful Counselor. Now that implies He does respond to our voice. I find it difficult to believe that there are some people who have a really hard time with that. But they do. My challenge to them is to keep at it. And I remind them that if they go elsewhere for their answer, they'll get one. It may be good, but not God's best. Ever since the garden, we all know good from evil, and good is not always God. Let me tell you the story of Mother's empty chair. A woman's daughter had asked the local minister to come and pray with her mother. When the minister arrived, he found the woman lying in bed with her head propped up on 2 pillows. An empty chair sat beside her bed. The minister assumed that the woman had been informed of his visit. "I guess you were expecting me," he said. "No. Who are you?" said the mother. The minister told her his name and then remarked, "I saw the empty chair and I figured you knew I was going to show up." "Oh, yes, the chair," said the bedridden woman. "Would you mind closing the door?" Puzzled, the minister shut the door. "I have never told anyone this, not even my daughter," said the woman. "But all my life I have never known how to pray. At church, I used to hear the pastor talk about prayer, but it went right over my head. I abandoned any attempt at prayer. It somehow seemed formal and distant," the woman continued. "Until one day, 4 years ago, my best friend said to me, 'Betty, prayer is just a simple matter of having a conversation with Jesus. Here is what I suggest. Sit down in a chair. Place an empty chair in front of you. And in faith, see Jesus in the chair. It's not spooky, because He promised He would always be with you and that He'd never leave you. Then just speak to Him in the same way you're doing with me right now.' So I tried it, and I've liked it so much, I do it a couple of hours every day. I'm careful, though. If my daughter saw me talking to an empty chair, she'd either have a nervous breakdown or send me off to the funny farm." The minister was deeply moved by her story and encouraged the woman to continue on her journey. Then he prayed with her, anointed her with oil, and returned to the church. 2 nights later, the daughter called to tell the minister that her mother had died that afternoon. "Did she die in peace?" he asked. "Yes. When I left the house about 2 o'clock, she called me over to her bedside, told me she loved me, and kissed me on the cheek. When I got back from the store an hour later, I found her." But there was something strange about her death. Apparently, just before she died, she leaned over and rested her head on the chair beside the bed. What do you make of that? The minister wiped a tear from his eye and replied, "I wish we could all go like that." This is Lynda Lewis reminding you, if God brings you to it, He'll bring you through it. Prayer is one of the best free gifts we receive.